What's up, everyone? Champ Bets back here again to talk about the main event of this week. This week's fight night, UFC Fight Night, Atlantic City, Erin Blanchfield versus Manon Fiorot. I am super excited for this fight. This is the fight I've been anticipating the most from anything before UFC 300. This is, in my opinion, the best women's fight that the UFC has made in years, in my humble opinion. We have two rising budding contenders who are undefeated in the UFC, who are trying to make their stakes for a title shot in the UFC women's flyweight division, and a main event of Erin Blanchfield's home of New Jersey. I am beyond excited. I think this is going to be a great fight. So let's go ahead and break this down. So we have Erin Blanchfield, who's undefeated in the UFC, as I said, who is the favorite at minus 200, 24 years of age, 5'4", 5'4". And most of the people are picking Erin Blanchfield to win this fight. And what does she bring to the table? She's a fantastic grappler. Her game on the ground is nasty. Even on the feet, though, she's not bad at all. She, as her nickname says, is cold-blooded. What she does is she pressures forward and tries to go ahead and, okay, let's go into a dog fight. She's an absolute dog. She's cold-blooded, as the nickname suggests. So what she's going to want to do is go in and force Manon into a fight and pressure all day long and try and make her tired. Manon Fiorot, on the other hand, fantastic co-striker. And honestly, she's actually she's an all-around fighter. She's an all-around fighter, to be honest with you. Great striking, of course, that's her best part. Her karate is phenomenal. That sidekick, bliss. It's absolute bliss. She is 34 years of age. She's up there in age. I'd say she's in her prime though. Still, women's primes can happen, like still be there later, as seen like Holly Holm, like in her older years, she was still doing really good. Maybe not as much now, but a few years ago, she's still amazing. She's the underdog here in this spot from Nice, France. She's going into enemy territory, which is something we should definitely consider, and is 5'7". And yeah, Manon Fiorot is a big flyweight. She is big. So I want to break this matchup down. Let me tell you who I'm going to pick. I'm going with Manon Fiorot in this spot. And honestly, I'm pretty darn confident. After doing a lot of research into this fight, because I've been super interested in this fight, and I've been looking at it for like months on end. So, Champ Bets, why the heck are you going against the 24-year-old? This is a young person's sport. Why are you going against the budding Erin Blanchfield? I got my reasons. So, let's begin with Erin Blanchfield's wrestling. The discourse of this fight, except for this week, I feel like this week a lot of people have been like, okay, Manon's actually really good. She's really good, but people have been talking about like Erin, like, oh, she's gonna get all these girls down and sub them. She's not a great wrestler, to be honest. Amazing grappler. Let's not get that, not miss that. Amazing grappler, but when we're not on the ground, we're on the feet and trying to get them on the ground. She struggles. We saw her struggle so much against Talia Santos, who really, Talia Santos having so much success early. And I'll get back to that Talia Santos fight, but she gassed out, and because of the gassing out, she was able to get taken down. Andrade had the wardrobe malfunction, which she talked about, and that's what led to the takedown. And if we look at, if I go ahead with StreamYard, excuse me, present top screen, present share screen, and we're looking at the stats on paper. Erin Blanchfield's takedown accuracy is 36%. Like, she has trouble getting some of these girls down, to be honest. And like, I think that's going to be a massive problem in this matchup against Manon, whose takedown defense is freaking 91%. My goodness. So that is something that we really should consider when going into this fight. She has trouble taking girls down. We know that Erin Blanchfield is definitely going to pressure the whole time, and she's going to try and go in at Manon and make her tired. And I know a lot of people are thinking, well, she's going to make Manon tired, just like she did Talia Santos. We've seen a history of Talia Santos gassing, though. Manon Fiorot, have we seen a history of her gassing out? No. No, not really. In fact, we know for a fact that Manon Fiorot has gone 5 rounds before. Full stop and like winning all 5 rounds. Let me switch over to Tapology to show that she has done this before. Manon Fiorot in this Amanda Lino fight, when she went 5 rounds, and in that fight, she went 5 rounds, and there was like a bunch of grappling and a bunch of stand-up involved. And Manon Fiorot she's got an all-around game. She can grapple. She doesn't make mistakes when like grappling, like from what we've seen in the UFC. Granted, maybe against not the best, not to the grappling level of Erin Blanchfield, but in terms of the wrestling, she's fought better wrestlers in all honesty. Probably Chukagian, better wrestler, but she didn't really wrestle with Manon in that fight. But Jennifer Maia, I think she's a better wrestler than Erin Blanchfield. Wrestler, not grappler. Wrestler. And what we saw in that fight with Manon Fiorot versus Jennifer Maia, she did take down Manon once. But what happened, Manon got right back up. And you can even argue that might not even should have been counted as a takedown. That was like no problem for Manon at all. And she got right back up, right back onto her feet. And it's like, oh, let's go. She prepares for this stuff. And another mention, I think the Rose fight, as we saw in the last fight with Rose's last fight with Heba, she's got good grappling as well as good wrestling. She's not bad at all in that department. She's even taken down people who acknowledge have great wrestling in Zhang Weili. She took down Zhang Weili in the second fight. So Manon was able to stuff pretty much anything Rose did for all 3 rounds. And just like, oh, but Rose wanted to strike or whatever. But the thing is about that Rose fight, why didn't Rose want to grapple and wrestle with Manon Fiorot? Why didn't she want to? She knew she was getting picked apart on the feet. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, you got to go switch your game. You got to try and clinch with Manon Fiorot. You got to try and wrestle her. I think there's a reason for that. Manon is not easy to take down at all. And like that 91% takedown defense rate is, I think, is evidence of that. And I think another thing to mention, Erin Blanchfield is going to pressure this fight. But when we look at Manon's previous opponent, we don't see them pressuring. And you wonder why. Why don't they pressure Manon Fiorot? And man, I think it's because of the heat she throws in those hands. The striking differential in this fight, quite frankly, it's too vast. It's so vast. Manon Fiorot has the advantage all day. She's going to tee off on Erin Blanchfield's face. Erin Blanchfield does move her head. I've seen a lot of misconceptions about her she doesn't move her head at all. That's not true. I looked at the tape. She does move her head a little bit. She's still very, very hittable, even so. And a girl like Manon who can be a sniper, she's going to tee off on it. She has a lot of volume, and she's going to land the much better strikes. It's flat out. And what I really like about Manon here is that we know that Erin Blanchfield is going to pressure. We also know that Manon Fiorot has fantastic lateral movement, and she can fight while moving backwards. So, because Blanchfield is quite frankly plotty, and she does not track well, and there's no real cutting off of the cage, I have a hard time seeing like Erin Blanchfield being able to come in with clean takedown attempts and clinch attempts on Manon. Plus, since this is a fight night in front of a crowd, we got the big cage again. That's in Manon Fiorot's favor. That's in her favor. And yeah, I think the clinch game. I think Manon's clinch game is pretty for real as well. To be honest, I think she'll do better in the clinch. I've already mentioned this. Fiorot is a massive flyweight. She's gonna be bigger than Blanchfield in there, and she's super. And Manon Fiorot is super athletic. And I've been loving the discourse that we've heard from Manon herself about, hey, 5 rounds favors me. She believes that, and people are like, no, she's just saying that. But we actually have something from like a while ago, from how it said, Manon Fiorot's team have asked the UFC for a 5-rounder against Erin Blanchfield in UFC Paris back when she fought Rose. She wanted to have a 5-round fight against someone like Blanchfield. She's the one asking for 5 rounds. I don't think that's something you can like ignore. Like, she's not afraid of 5 rounds. She can go 5 rounds, and she's done it before. She's had 5-round fights before. So I think 5 rounds shows she's going to be just fine. I don't think she's going to gas as many other people do believe. And I think Erin may be discouraged from trying to grapple or wrestle because of what Manon's doing, but honestly probably not, because she has no other path other than maybe a flash KO, but I don't see that happening. I mean, if I bring up the UFC stats again about the striking differential, Manon's hitting 6 strikes and only getting hit by 3. Erin's not doing as much, and the defense of Manon is just better. You can quite clearly see that in like their fights. I rewatched the Andrade fight the other day, and I was like, I remember Erin doing really, really well, and she did pretty well, because she was not getting bullied by Andrade, because Andrade's whole thing is, I'm going to bully you, I'm going to try and destroy you like this. But Erin kept going forward. But man, she was hitting nice shots on Andrade. Andrade was landing very nice shots on her. Like, that's not something we can ignore. I was an Andrade on short notice, so like, oh, I'm just coming here to get the paycheck for like the divorce at that time. So I think it's gonna be pretty similar to the Talia Santos fight again with Erin Blanchfield, where round 1, that was not looking good. She was getting beat up bad. But instead of Talia gassing, Fiorot's she's going to be there. She's going to be there. She's probably going to have more volume than Talia did. Maybe not hit as hard, but I don't know. I think she hits pretty darn hard, to be honest with you. I think it's something we got to look at, and because of how hittable Erin Blanchfield is, it's hard for me to like look past that. And yeah, Manon's got good wrestling of her own, and she's taken down so many girls. Let's go over Manon Fiorot's previous fights. Let's look past, let's go get Tabitha Ricci fight and on. Manon Fiorot doesn't mind taking down Tabitha Ricci. Okay, she's small. We understand. Maya Bueno Silva, that's a big girl. She went up to 135. Manon Fiorot, I keep forgetting, 2 of 6 takedowns. She's willing to engage in takedowns against Maya Bueno Silva, who has very good like grappling defense, like grappling offense. I mean to say, like MBS is not like no slouch on the ground. I don't think Maya Bueno Silva is that good. Let me be clear. I don't actually believe that. But against a big girl like Maya Bueno Silva, that's impressive. Against Jennifer Maia, 2 of 4 on Jennifer Maia. Jennifer Maia had Shevchenko in a bad position at one point in her title fight against her. Granted, she got dominated in that fight besides that one round, but like, Jennifer Maia is no joke. She's no joke. Oops, wrong thing. Manon Fiorot. She took down Seminara or Chukagian. She took her down and secured a round like that. And honestly, I think she might do the same with Erin Blanchfield, because I'm not sure if Blanchfield's going to be like expecting Manon to be shooting on her. And Manon didn't really try to take down Rose. Rose did try to take her down. I guess this is something to know. She was able to take down Rose. Rose is really good at the grappling and wrestling, of course. So I don't think there's any big shame in that. Obviously, Manon Fiorot is going to be better suited fighting on the feet. Fighting on the feet against Erin Blanchfield. I am worried about like things like side kicks and stuff like that. And like if Blanchfield catches one and then oop. But we know from the Jennifer Maia fight, when she has been taken down like once, and like I said, you maybe argue she didn't get taken out, she's going to try and get right back up. She's going to try to get right back up. So I think things favor Fiorot here. She is so underrated. Like, and her resume, like I said, her resume is that age good. Besides this first one against Victoria later on, I mean, yeah. Tabitha Ricci we acknowledge is pretty good. And Mara Bueno Silva, I don't think is that good, but I mean, she just fought for a title against Raquel Pennington, who I really, really like Raquel Pennington. And Raquel Pennington's the best in that division for a reason. No shame losing to Raquel Pennington. I don't think she's that great, but big flyweight. She went up to bantamweight for a reason. She beat Holly Holm. Can't deny that. Jennifer Maia, who's been like around, she's not like losing all these fights. She's been in these fights. Jennifer Maia is no joke. She's no slouch. She's a good UFC veteran. Katlyn Chookagian, I mean, she was number 2 in that division for so long, and really the first one in a while. Well, okay, I mean not a while, Andrade, but she went on a win streak again, beat 4 girls. She was the first one in a while to stop Katlyn Chookagian from winning. And Rose Namajunas, yeah, she had a bad fight against Carla, but it's not like she's washed. We saw against Hebos the other day. I mean, she didn't perform so great in that fight, but she did what she had to do to win. Maybe I'm like running into some stuff. So, something I do want to say is, if Blanchfield does get this on the ground and is on top, Blanchfield is definitely the best person Manon has faced when it comes to that department. Like, by far. Blanchfield's grappling is nasty. I think Manon will be okay. She'll be fine. However, I mean, there's no denying Blanchfield's grappling is phenomenal. It's fantastico. So if she's able to take her down, and we are in Atlantic City, so the crowd is going to be cheering for Erin Blanchfield. You know they want their girl to win. So there is definitely that to consider, but I have a hard time really finding a case for Erin Blanchfield to win besides, okay, you find a way to get her down. Maybe Manon Fiorot like trips after and Blanchfield catches a side kick or a head kick and like throws her down, gets a trip or something like that. I have a hard time seeing how she's going to be able to go ahead and win this fight. And maybe I think there's going to be some discourse after this fight if Erin Blanchfield does lose. It's MMA, and crazy things happen. Maybe I'm totally wrong. It's possible. It's part of how it is. If Fiorot beats Blanchfield, Blanchfield is not a fraud. Let's get that clear. Let's let that be clear. Manon Fiorot is an incredible fighter. Incredible fighter who's just really been getting discounted for some reason. Maybe it's because she's having like closer fights with some of these girls, and Blanchfield's kind of been dominating besides the Talia Santos fight. And I guess the Andrade fight, I don't think she dominated that one either until round 2 when she got the takedown. So she's young. Erin Blanchfield's young. I think it's good for her to lose early, get that experience, and she's going to become better. I think she's destined to be a world champion at some point in the future. She's got to get better, and she's got all the time in the world. So I'm not no Erin Blanchfield hater. I really believe in her, and I think she's really good. This spot, I think Fiorot is going to come into enemy territory and tee off on Erin Blanchfield. Really, I think it will go to decision. I'll give Erin Blanchfield that. I think she is super durable. She is super tough. Would I be surprised if she gets KO'd? I won't lie, not really. she might get TKO'd, but I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. I'll say she's able to make it to a decision. She's able to show how tough she is for Atlantic City to witness. This is a great fight, like I said. There's a world where Erin Blanchfield is able to get Manon down as to sub her. I mean, there's definitely that possibility. I'm not going to deny that. MMA has a bunch of different things that can happen in it. But I've been really feeling Manon Fiorot going into this fight, and I want to settle with that. I've said most of the things I wanted to say. Hope you're having a great one. I am super excited for this card, this main event in particular. This, like I said, I think the best women's fight made in years for the UFC. Can't wait. I'm going with Manon Fiorot, and I'm gonna put some money on her. I'm definitely gonna put some money on her. The odds are widening to me, which is bananas. I think it's crazy that the odds are widening. So, yeah, I guess let's go Manon because I'm gonna have money on her. How much we're gonna see? Yeah, that's about it. Thank you for joining us for a Champ Bets main event breakdown. Can't wait to do more and more of these. I'm going to do a full card breakdown as well coming up, probably coming out either sometime later today or tomorrow with the whole card. And yeah, have a great one, everyone. Let's go.